Hello and welcome to Herbalist and Herbs. My name is Chrissakis. Today's video is short: high carbs, high insulin, and heart disease. Okay, so what I did in this is I took a section out of the diabetes material and focused it on the vascular system. So this is really about insulin resistance and diabetes, their effect on the vascular system. Now they are one of the major foundations, the thrust behind the heart disease epidemic and stroke epidemic in the U.S. Now, heart disease takes about 650,000 lives and stroke takes about 300,000. So it's quite large and quite a big effect. So the thing is to look at the numbers in terms of people that have insulin resistance and or type 2 diabetes. Now, they are basically the same disease. Insulin resistance is on a continuum with type 2 diabetes. And the things that are damaging in type 2 diabetes, the majority of them are also happening in insulin resistance. If we look at the numbers, there's about 35 million diabetics, but there's about 70 million insulin resistant people. And the age category or numbers for these people manifesting these disorders are becoming younger and younger. It used to be around 40 years old, but it's not uncommon to find people in their 20s and 30s who are either insulin resistant or have type 2 diabetes. Now, what I want to discuss about what's going on in the bloodstream is the damaging effects of both elevated glucose and insulin. And under the condition of both insulin resistance and type 2 diabetes, that's what's going on in the bloodstream. Now, when we get elevated glucose in the bloodstream, the pancreas responds by making more insulin to force the glucose into the tissue because it has to get it out of the bloodstream. And this is happening because there's resistance on a cellular level for a number of reasons, but it's a very common profile. When this happens and the pancreas kicks up the amount of insulin in the bloodstream, it forces the insulin into the tissue. Only some of the tissue does not like it, especially tissue from the kidney, the nephrons, the lenses and retinas of the eyes, and nerve tissue. And these are all key areas that go on diabetics. And this is also what's happening in insulin resistance, only it's happening systemically, and it's happening in the bloodstream. So let's discuss the effects of both elevated glucose and insulin, once again, which are the things that are both elevated in insulin resistance and in type 2 diabetes. When you've got elevated glucose in your bloodstream, it binds to free amino acids and forms something called advanced glycated end products, or AGEs. These things are damaged protein structures, and they produce a lot of free radicals, about 50 times more than any normal biological event in your body. And the free radicals are unstable molecules. They need to pull electrons in order to stabilize themselves. Now, normally we have enough antioxidants to do that. That's what does it. But under the conditions where they're getting flooded and the body's getting overwhelmed, the free radicals start to damage tissue. Now, this goes on in your bloodstream in terms of your red blood cells or in terms of your vascular tissue, your veins and your arteries, and all the things that they are connected to, which is like everything. But heart and brain, I mean, just to bring out two things of real importance. So when those types of situations occur and you've got these sustained levels of both glucose and insulin, one of the things that happens is what I just said, is that the glucose binds to free amino acids and form these damaged products. Now, what happens with insulin is much more, there's many more things, and also it's even more intense and has more depth. Insulin tends to do a bunch of things to the quality of the blood. It raises triglycerides. It raises low-density lipids. It thickens the blood by raising both the fibrin level and the platelet level. Both things go up, and all of those things put together really spell out a major risk problem for heart disease. In terms of what it does in the general sense of the body, it upregulates two of the primary inflammatory cascades in the body, nuclear factor kappa beta and the COX-2 and LOX5 pathways. So it opens those up, has a specific impact on upregulating it. It also tends to convert weaker forms of estrogen into stronger forms of estrogen, which also adds to inflammation. So many of the chronic diseases, all of them actually, of the top ones, have a major inflammatory component to it. So insulin feeds all of that. It is a major problem in our country. It is a major problem in the Western world that this is true, and that the rate of our heart disease is so excruciating. And this is one of the main thrusts behind these things happening. If you want to get more information, please go to my website, which is herbalistandherbs.com, and there's a number of original articles on the site as well as videos. Thanks for taking the time to watch this video.